Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Looking great. Got sharp people here for you today on Rhythm and Scales Plus for Flute Pro Series. Hope you folks at home are making tons of magic in the Flute Pro Series curriculum. Lots of progress. And we got tons of challenges coming at you today. So make sure everything is turned on. Ears and the brain and your eyes ready to roll. By combining practical rhythms with something as basic, as fundamental, as critically important as scales, you're isolating and working two of the most important aspects of the flute and, of course, in music in general, right? In this lesson, subdivision is going to be paramount. We're going to cover all 12 major scales. Scary, crazy fingerings, right? But you got this. Do you have a metronome? You want to work with that as much as possible when you work on rhythms and scales. And we got one for you right here. Clicking along, make sure that that subdivision stays together the whole time. We're not going to waste any time. We got exercise A here, a little warm-up for you. We want full sounds. You're going to take a full breath with us in tempo on beat 4, and we're going to knock it. Here comes A. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic job, guys. Great music making right here. This is a very fine flute ensemble that we've got here for you. Make sure your TV volume is up loud enough so that you can hear all of this gorgeousness all the time and fit your sound right into that. Okay, we got exercise B. Moving forward, ensure that your air column is always driving forward through these phrases. You hear these guys, especially Fausto on the end over here, really spending energy through that first part, which is what you have. Using air to create a vibrancy in his sound gives it that shimmer that we love, okay? Have your ears turned on. Here comes B. 1, 2, piano. Fantastic job, guys. Super cool. Exercise B, how'd you do shaping those lines using air to make music? Yeah, we're doing rhythm, we're doing scales. We're really emphasizing rhythm and really tackling scales, but this is the plus, man. You got to make music the whole time as well, and that's what we want for you. Now we're going to tune, but before we do that, I got to tell you all these cool people that you see right here. They're gorgeous, and they're great flute players, and you need to know who they are. Come this way, won't you? On the end, we have Kim Zapoli. How are you, my dear? Doing fantastic, thank you. Throwing down the fourth part for you today, right here. Extraordinary low range. You hear the quality of this sound in the low range of the flute, which, as you know as a flutist, is very challenging to really secure with all of that air and great sound all the time. She does it. She is a second-year music education student at the University of Central Florida. Go the Knights, right? We hang out there a lot. And she plays in the wind ensemble, very fine group, and as well is a fine water sportist. Enjoys that very much. Glad to have you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Right here on the third part is Mr. Cedric Boyd, student at the Jacksonville State University, studying flute up there, and his major is music education. You teach high school or middle school? High school. High school. What about you, Kim? What do you want to teach? High school, right. Go do the high school thing, like the big peoples with the marching band, right. Okay. And he's a very fine flute player studying with Kelly Krotz, who is the instrumental advisor for all of the Flute Pro Series curriculum. So he knows firsthand the magic that this stuff can make for you, right? And what else do you do up there? You said KK Psy, right? KK Psy. Very cool. And he is the corresponding secretary and the treasurer. Now, I know that's a load because I know one of those jobs is crazy, right? Computer guy as well. Super cool. Thanks for coming to hang. We appreciate it. Here on the second part, we've got Patrick Kleins. How are you, sir? Good, great. He is a senior at the Jacksonville State University, also a music major up there, and he has an awesome second part. You know what's cool about all these players is that they play so well no matter what part they're given, and you got to take that into account as well, which means you don't have to sit on the first book all the time. If you're playing 2, you're playing 3, you're playing 4, you play 110% to the best of your ability. Make yourself an asset to whatever ensemble that you're in, right? Thanks for coming, Patrick. We appreciate it. On the end, the legend, Dr. Fausto Miro. No, he's not a doctor, but he's going to be. And he is way awesome, the first flute player today. And he's got your parts, so you got to listen to him for modeling of all the correct rhythm, precise articulation. Now, don't screw up, Fausto. And, just kidding, he's awesome. And he is just a fantastic all-around flute player. He is a student at the University of South Florida, right?
Yes.
Yes, and what's your major?
Voice and flute performance.
That's right, he's got two, because he's a vocalist as well as a flutist. And he went to Europe, right, this past summer, right? Doing a huge, crazy thing where he played the flute and sang on the same trip with the same group. So he was doing vocalist stuff at the same time as playing. Just a phenomenal musician, this guy, and that's why we have him here. Thanks for coming, man. We appreciate it. Yeah. So now we're going to tune. And you know, because you've handled Pro Series stuff before, that we tune a very specific way here on the Pro Series set, which means we give it to you twice. The first time, you're listening to the quality of the ensemble, the center of their pitch, and really, really getting an idea of the quality of their tone, that characteristic tone quality on the flute. Then, the second time we go, you play with us, fitting your sound and your pitch into ours, right? Making sure you have the best, most glorious flute sound you ever could. All right, here comes our turn. We're starting on A's, right? Here we go. Ready, guys? Fantastic job. Got it? Hear it in your head right now. Develop that image of the pitch. Hear it? Here we go. Your turn. Play with us. Right in the center. Really very nice. And hopefully you're nice and in tune on that A now. Make some adjustments as necessary. Sharp, right? Pulling out, flat, pushing in a little bit. You know that. Here we go. We're going to tune the second A that you see there. Okay, our turn first. Here we go. Very nice. Super cool. Your turn. Same deal. Pay attention. So nice. Very good. And now you're in tune, right? Isn't it magical? And so we're going to roll right ahead into Section 2, Exercise A. We got dotted quarters and eighth notes here. We're starting on C major. Nice little easy key for you. Keep a really steady, uber-supported air column for your best sound all the time, especially on the flute, right? Got to make sure that that air is directed firmly across the lip plate so that you really get the best core sound at all times. Familiar rhythm, right? This is super easy. We want you to aim for the hard beats. We want you to think about the scalar patterns that you see as well. And also, these things here are accented. That's to help you feel the pulse and the structure. Make sure that you keep that subdivision rolling, chuck, 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 all the way through. Cool? Here's A. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic job. Great job placing the accents, even in the supporting parts. How'd you do with that? Was it great? You see these, man, you got to use air on the front of that. It's not a percussive sound. It means you're not using your tongue to create the accent. You're using the quality of the air, the power of the air to give weight to the sound. That creates a better sounding accent on wind instruments in general. Take that to the bank, man. Here comes exercise B. We're moving on. We got G major now. And we're going to cut the rhythmic values in half, okay? So you see dotted eighth, 16th notes. Here we want you to think about the 16th as, and all the time really, as a pickup to the eighths. So we want even dotted eighth, 16th notes, right? There's no triplet groove here. Make sure that you check that out. We want an even staccato style. What? We're talking about style as well. So you want me to play musically, you want me to play with style and think about rhythm and scales? Yes. This is the plus. Makes you better. Style, better. Articulation, better. Yeah. Okay, here comes exercise B. Nice light staccato, guys. Make sure we get space. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic job. Just the right amount of space. So it was not going D, 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 D. They really put that staccato in there and you hear D, 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 D. And the pulse was super accurate. They weren't rushing it. And it certainly didn't feel like the triplet, which is D, 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 which has its place, but not here, right? Okay, so now we're on to exercise C. We are adding another sharp. We got D major now. Count very carefully. It's exercise A, but the rhythm is backwards, right? So now we got the 8th note in the front, followed by the dotted quarter. Don't worry, no biggie, you will get it. We've still got accents on the hard beats to help you, okay? So you're going to push with air on that 8th note on the hard beats. Are you thinking about your intonation? Are you thinking all the time about the quality of the pitch that you're producing? We got exercise C. Here we go. 1, 2, and. Fantastic. Great job. Accents are superb. They're just great. These guys are wonderful. What can we say? Hope you're doing well, too. So now we got exercise D, and we are in A major. Scary. Make sure you get that little extra G sharp there, right? Same deal, 16ths plus dotted 8. So we reversed that rhythm that we had before in that other exercise, all right? Still talking about the same amount of space. We're still talking about consistency of staccato. So yeah, we're focusing on rhythm. We're focused on the scale. We want all the notes right. We want the rhythm right, but we're still thinking about style. You got this. It's the plus. Listen, count carefully. Here's D. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic. Great job on the separation. You notice that their dotted 8th notes are not as short as the 16th note staccato notes, right? They're putting a little bit of length on the end of those, even though it's not the full length of the dotted 8th. That's critical to understand, that our staccato lengths do not automatically mean every single note gets the same exact length. We're still trying to make sure that there's a distinguishment between that 16th note and the dotted 8th, right? So we got section 3, exercise A. We've got triplets in simple meter now, and we're in E major. Scary. Woo! Kind of getting fun. By the way, if some of these keys kind of get crazy, what do? You press that pause button, you work it out. You mess with the scale a little bit. Or you press the back button and you roll through the exercise again. We like that. Just shut me up, right? Or take out this DVD and put in total scales and go and roll some E major stuff. Come back to what you're doing. E major will be just knocking right out for you, okay? Triplets, we got them. You love them. This is an around. And the second part is supporting us with this lovely melody. That's Patrick back here, is really throwing down some great music for you. Take a look at measure 8. We've thrown in 2 triplet quarter note groups. You see those? Play these just as evenly. Make sure you've spaced those out across the appropriate amount of pulse. Okay, here's A. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic. Great job. 2 on the forte piano. Nice even triplets. How'd you do with those? And how did you do on the 8th note triplets as you rose through the A major scale? Crazy E major stuff, right? You can handle it, no problem. We got exercise B now. It's B major. B for B major. Can you make it happen? It's the plus. That's a lot of sharps that you see there. 5. Picking it up here with the rhythm a little bit. Think of 3 8th notes per beat with a tie on the first 2. That'll help you out a lot. Again, we're in a round. The second part has a beautiful melody, which we love very much. And again, if B major is crazy, you got to go over to total scales. right? And make sure that you roll as much B major stuff as you can and really get across the axis of your hands inside that B major scale, which really helps you out so much. Okay, here comes B. One, two, ready. Beautiful job, very fine, triplets. And B major, how did you do with that? Wasn't it cool and fun? You got the back button, man. If it's going crazy and you're just getting too much messiness in there with other pitches that you don't want, roll it again and work on that B major scale. Exercise C, we got F sharp major. Yeah, so if B major was not hard enough, we got F sharp major now. How you doing? Triplet quarter notes here, right? Do not ever give triplet quarter notes that dotted eighth, eighth feel. You know, we're talking about kind of that Caribbean D, D, ba, D, D, ba. We don't want that. We want ba, 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 boom. Cool? 3 even notes all the way through that. Aim for the hard beats and separate according to that. Cool? C. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic job. Great job on those pulses in the supporting parts. And over here, Mr. Fausto, giving us a great super musical push forward through those scalar passages, which we love. Exercise D now. We're in D flat major, thrown over to the flat keys now. Only 5 flats. You know, flute players, we like flat keys way better than we like sharp keys. Oh, yes, we do. We have triplet eighth notes plus triplet quarters, right? So watch for those. Mathematically subdivide. Be ready for that. You got the back button if it screws you up. We want to make sure that you have as many opportunities to do this as possible as you need to get it right. Right? Here's D. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic job. Great job on the triplets and D flat. We like D flat, right? Super nice and great. And we're rolling on to section 4, exercise A, talking about now hemiola. Drink your cola. Actually, don't do that ever and then play your instrument because your instrument will melt. That would be terrifying. Yeah, don't drink soda and then play your horn. Tears your horn up. We got hemiola now. It is a 2 in 3 or a 3 in 2, and we got both of those for you here. Think mathematically, right? And keep aiming air across the whole exercise to make it as musical as possible. We're trying to fit 2 notes inside of a pulse of 3, right? Or 3 notes inside of a pulse of 2. That is the hemiola, and that's what we're going to knock for you. Here's exercise A. A little faster, guys. 1, 2. Very lovely. Great job, guys, on the hemiola. And now we're getting to what we talked about before, where in exercise B, you can see that in a duple pulse, we've got groups of 3 across a duple pulse. So the one that you just did, right, we had 2 notes inside of a pulse of 3. In this one, we're going to have 3 notes based on a pulse of 2, even though it's 4 inside the entire measure, right? So that's exercise B. We got 3 flats here for you. So we're coming back to the easier keys, which is great. Hallelujah. We love that. Make sure that your triplet half notes are super even. We also want to go ahead and check your posture right now. How is your carriage of the flute as you play? Are you sitting up nice and tall? Because this will not allow near the air support that's sitting up nice and tall and having an open throat and air column, allowing the air forward towards the instrument, right across that lip plate. Always, again, have that air moving forward so that you can be what? As musical as possible, right? Everything you're doing should be always musical, and we want to make sure that you are thinking, yeah, I'm thinking about rhythm, I'm thinking about scales, I'm thinking about articulation, but I am being musical too, okay? Here's B. 1, 2, ready? Very nice, super cool. Gorgeous little improv thing there at the end. Feel free to figure that out. Oh yeah. We got exercise C, B flat. Back to the easy stuff, man. You got it? So we got 6, 8 now. The second, third, and fourth parts over here are going to hold down the beat for you, the little groovy groove. So think constant eighth notes, okay? And here we go. Here's C. 1, 2, ready. Very lovely. Great job on the accents in the supporting part. And you hear Fausto really giving us great himiola. It's not a pizza topping anymore, right? All right, so we got exercise D now. We want you to feel the rhythm. It's very common. You've seen it before. We have almost a 6-8 feel in the odd measures, right? 3-4 in the even measures. So you're going to shift that pulse, keeping the subdivision paramount. You are making sure that that eighth note pulse stays the same the whole time. Okay, here we go. Here's D. 1, 2. Very nice, super lovely. Great job on the retard, and the pulse is super great as well. How'd you do with all those? Now we had, as you can see, inside of a 3-4 meter, we have places where we feel like we're in 6-8. It's because of the organization of the pulse. So we want you to feel like that eighth note stays constant, but that you can manipulate the emphasis pattern so as to produce a different metric feel, which we like, and hope that you put that in your toolbox. We got a little bonus round for you here. It's the last exercise of Rhythm and Scales Plus. We're studying some ties. It's back to C major, back to C future. Great, Scott. All right, stick with it and count. Make sure you know what you're doing. Put all your rhythmic fundamentals together here. Read all of your accidentals. Check those out. Enjoy this because it's crazy fun. We love it. It's the last exercise. 1.21 gigawatts. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Fantastic. Woo! Fun little ending there. Hope you had fun with that. Did you manage the dynamics? Did you manage the style? How'd the rhythm do? All those great tools we want you to constantly be expressing and using as you perform music. So, you've gotten to work with all of your major scales today, which we love. Bonus, yay. And you gotta know those backwards and forwards. This is the plus. And of course, it's Pro Series. We want you to know everything there is to know about the flute. And that's the end of Rhythm and Scales Plus. We'll see you real soon. Do the right arm. See you. Take care. Bye. On this one. Pound. Yeah, he blew it up. He blew it up. Pound and...